Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Mwah.
I can't wait to kiss you. It's coming. I feel it. It's coming so soon.
Yeah. I'm in week 5 of my immunotherapy on my lips. Wear your sunblock. All those years in the sun, I've got a little bit of a melanoma on my lip. I'm catching it early, so we're beating it. I want to dive back into this video, Healing Your Body with Food, the movie from Spirit Science 33. So this is a video on YouTube. We're breaking it down. They just went through a whole section on meats. We kind of skipped over that. We're going to dairy. Just finished up as I was kind of queuing this thing up. There's just so much information there, and I think it's amazing what we let the industry get away with in this country, and that's why I think the meats are so unhealthful. I mean, we eat plant-based, so we don't eat meats for a lot of different reasons. But people that do, I think the way they're raised, and we got to touch on that, but that's a much deeper video.
Right, that is another video, and you know, I feel like it's such a controversial video, although it shouldn't. And you know, Jeffrey and I both want to say that, you know, we eat plant-based, but we're not telling anybody else how to live their life and what to eat. I think that each one of us owes it to ourselves to learn the information and use that information to make a moral and conscious decision that works for us.
Right.
And what works for me might not work for you. I mean, I went this route well before Jeffrey did. And, you know, he went on his own journey. And I think it's really important. And I never wanted to push my journey on you or our 2 daughters. And it's a very cool thing to watch you and our girls go on their own journey and make, you know, pretty much the same choices that I made, but not because I wanted you to, but because you wanted you to.
And you did a good job teeing this up, because that's basically what she's saying at the video at this
And now
time.
finally, before we move on, I'd like to restate that it is upon you and your own consciousness to decide what kind of diet is right for you. I don't want to tell you what to eat or what not to eat, only that if health is your concern, you should be equipped with all of the information you can within your mental arsenal to make the best decision for you.
Yep.
And now, as we explore deeper into the recesses of our physical health, it's time that we looked at one of the last major giants in the food industry, and part 2 of the animal foods category, dairy. For most of us, we've been raised to believe a lot of great things about dairy. It's nature's perfect food. However, there is now an overwhelming amount of new research and scientific investigation which paints dairy in a different light, almost showing that for every belief about the benefits of dairy, the opposite appears to be true.
Yeah.
So, what's the deal? Is milk and dairy in general really all that good for us? Let's find out. So let's talk about the production of milk. In order for a cow to give milk, she has to give birth to a baby calf. This starts the lactation process. In most factory farms, immediately after birth, the calves are separated from their mothers.
It's really hard
Most
for me to
female
watch
calves
this.
are grown into the next generation
don't
of
watch the
milking
video.
cows, while male calves often become veal. The calf goes and lives in its own little house, which is a measure to prevent disease. If the calf stays with the mother, it could become contaminated by the manure or other diseases by exposure to bacteria, and the mama can't stay with the calf anyways because she's got to give milk.
I got to stop this for a second. So Karen's saying she can't watch the video. And if you watch some of these videos out there, Forks Over Knives, Cowspiracy, all of these, you see what's going on. It's hard. The one thing about dairy that's just sickens me is they impregnate the cows and they take the baby out when it gives birth and takes it away from the cow immediately, and the cows are crying sometimes for weeks. That was just painful for me to watch. But the point that I want to make here, Karen and I drive around the country a lot. We just pack up the Jeep and go. If you guys watch our videos, we live in Colorado. We head east, we head west, we head north, we head south. We see it all. And if you go drive by these dairy farms, just go by, first of all, you can smell them from miles away.
Miles away.
And the reason why I have to take the babies out of that environment, they are just living in manure. There's not a blade of grass anywhere to be seen. It's terrible.
No greenery anywhere. So once they remove the calf from the mother then is immediately put back into her stall. Some of these cows are not even able to sit down. They certainly cannot turn around, and they're hooked up to machines that continually take their milk, and that's their life. And they are fed high-fat food so that they produce a more abundancy of milk. And they're also fed hormones and antibiotics to keep that milk safe.
And that's the key. We are trying to, we do care for the animals, obviously, but we're trying to make, this video is all about nutrition.
Right.
And, you know, if you don't care about the planet or care about the animals, this is all about just nutrition.
Right.
And
it's hard for us to separate it. I just want to interject that it is really hard for us to separate it just because we're big animal lovers. But I get it that there are people out there that aren't, and that's okay. Yeah. And we are not judging anybody. I think everyone needs to, again, make their own choices, but you do need to know the information. You need to know that you're getting a product that is being treated with hormones and antibiotics and cancer-causing, you know, toxins. So although we think that milk does a body good, okay, well,
you're getting ahead of us here.
Okay, go ahead.
Because let's get the information. Listen. Yeah.
She has all of this milk for her calf to give, which the farmers hook up to machines to do the milking for them.
That's what you were talking about.
So they keep the cows always pregnant to make sure that they're always making more milk. The calf is then fed not by her mother's milk, but with the industry's produced unsellable milk, which is milk with high levels of infection, which the companies deem not fit for sale to humans.
What happens to the milk from the sick cows?
Those we actually, what we do, we pasteurize that and feed that to the babies.
Once old enough to produce its own calf, the new mother will be inseminated and starts her new life as a dairy cow.
So I'm not going to stop it, but the milk that's not good for human consumption, they feed that to the baby calves, which are coming out to make more milk.
Or recombinant bovine growth hormone, which is also called RBGH, which reports to increase milk production by 10%, but also has received criticism from scientists, farmers, and consumers after being shown to cause health threats for the cows. With this in mind, Canada and Europe chose to ban the use of BST. BST is also proposed by some to adversely affect human health by slightly increasing the amount of IGF-1 in the milk, which has been associated with some cancers. In the United States, BST use is still common practice, and the FDA has banned labeling milk as RBGH-free, so it's very difficult to tell what milk is safe or ethical to drink at all.
I'm going to pause that here. Now, you know, everybody on LinkedIn watching this stuff or on this video, YouTube, we have people all over the world, but a lot of people in the U.S., it's just crazy to me that we in the U.S. allow this to go on, and Canada and Europe, they say it's not good for consumption for the humans.
Right. So let me just reiterate what we just learned here, that the RBGH that causes disease, and there was a time when you saw on milk cartons RBHG free. Now, that is not allowed in Europe and Canada. They still allow it in the U.S., and not only that...
But they're not allowed to use it in Europe and Canada.
It's banned.
We allow them to use it, and we don't require them to post it.
Well, not only do we not require them to post it, the industry has fought to mandate that it's not allowed to be posted, so therefore you don't know if you're getting you know, an RBGH free milk or if you're getting a toxin filled milk, because the majority of the milk that's produced here in the US contains that, and it's toxic for humans. It's toxic for the cows and the animals, and they're just passing that on to us, and then we're passing it on to our children. So, you know, again, Jeffrey and I are dairy free, but you know, we know that that's not the masses. So we just want you to be informed about the dairy that you're drinking and that you're feeding to your children.
Although I do want to say this, as I go to grocery stores, I am looking at the sections of dairy, and I'm happy to say that certainly Whole Foods and natural grocers, but I'm going to even say walking into Safeway and King Soopers, the large chains, the non-dairy plant milks are as big as the dairy milk. So, you know, what we're talking about here,
even larger.
Yeah, I think people are figuring this out here, that you know, dairy milk is not healthful. Obviously, so when you say it's not the masses, you're right. There's still a lot of people that don't know this information, which is why we're doing the video, just to break it down. And I want to share some personal results of dropping dairy. But I think it's really turning the tide as we look at those, you know, just the shelf space, right?
100%. And, you know, I want to take it a step further, because some people might say, and before I started eating fully plant-based, I was one of these people. I would say, well, you know, I would only purchase organic milk.
Yeah.
Organic milk means that it is free of these toxins, so you're safe there. But it has nothing to do with how the milk was gotten from the cow. So it might still be that same process where they're inseminating a cow, they're taking the babies away, and they keep inseminating the cow because she needs to keep producing milk so that they can keep making money. So, you know, the cow is constantly fed, inseminated to keep her pregnant. If she has a female, that cow, once it's old enough, will constantly be inseminated to keep it pregnant. Whether it's organic or not, these practices may be with organic as well. And then I think
again, we're trying to just stick to the nutrition, but I know it's hard for you, but it's like, you know, because it's a bad environment no matter what, and a lot of people believe that.
Well, I am really talking about the nutrition. I'm talking. Those are just facts that happen.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with my opinion or my feeling. That's what happens. The fact of the matter is that some people, and I was one of them, you know, 12 years ago, where I would say, well, I would only buy organic milk, is that I just want you to know, if that is of importance to you, that might still be the case. And then the males are, the male calves are sent off for veal. Right.
And does that have anything to do with nutrition?
No.
She's so sweet. She can't stop. But, you know, listen, I'm with you. I'm just trying to keep this on track because there's a lot of people out there that don't understand that piece, right?
Well, and
so
I'm
trying to help people with nutrition.
It only hurts my heart. I don't judge anybody else, and we have friends, and I stand behind whatever works for them.
I get it, but I'm going to keep us on track. I get it, honey. Listen, you know I'm with you.
Cows are also then often injected with antibiotics to counter the disease from their often poor living conditions, which also makes its way into the milk. Finally, before being packaged and brought to the supermarkets, milk is pasteurized, which means heated to about 65 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. This is done to destroy potentially dangerous germs and prevents the souring of the milk. However, this process is said to also destroy much of the beneficial bacteria and nutritionist constituents within the milk, most notably B2, which milk is often a primary source of. For nearly 100 years, milk has been advertised as nature's perfect food. So perfect, in fact, that this U.S. government film from the early 20th century recommended that infants that have just been weaned from their mother's milk should be immediately switched to cow's milk. Today, it's not uncommon to see ads on the TV or internet which portray milk as something that will help you lose weight, make your bones strong, prevent heart disease, good for your skin, stops cramps, builds your muscles, makes you tall, and your teeth strong.
When you take a break, make it milk.
That's how I grew up, hearing those ads, right?
Yeah, I have an interesting point I want to make about those ads.
Yeah, well, it's going to, little piece here and then we'll do it.
Research and investigations by many prominent nutritionists, doctors, and physicians have strongly linked dairy to causing eczema, arthritis, osteoporosis, colon and ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, asthma, and acne. There have also been reports linking dairy to childhood diabetes, intestinal bleeding, bovine leukemia, which is an AIDS-like virus, as well as heart disease, anemia, and increased allergies, which is basically the opposite of everything we've believed to be true about it.
Okay, that's all I'm going to play for the video. But that last piece what really resonated with me, when I dropped dairy, I had allergies my whole life. As a young kid, I had a lot of allergies. It was hay fevers and all this stuff. I remember having this scratch test. It was like 65 scratches, and they put in cat dander and dandelion and all this stuff, and whatever swelled up, I went through all these tests. I had allergies my whole life, even as an adult. Even,
I was going to say, in our life together, you know, pre you giving up dairy, you had terrible allergies.
Well, I'm just saying here in this documentary, they're talking about like it causes allergies. Well, I can just tell you personally, what we're trying to do in this is share what we're learning and what we've personally been through. When I dropped dairy, I can tell you a few things. Number one, allergies went away completely, gone. You know, I lost probably like 9 pounds, boom, like that.
It was about 15 actually.
Yeah. Cold and flus were just non-existent. So,
before that, I mean, you have to let people know, because this is, before that, you know, Jeffrey was the one in our household. He always got the cold that went around. I mean, that was just your thing. It never stopped you from, you know, you just continued on, but you did get all that, and you were a dairy consumer. Right.
Now, I always consider myself healthy. To your point, like I never missed a day of work. You would give me a hard time sometimes, and I shouldn't have done this. I probably went into work.
Well, you wouldn't go in now.
Yeah, right. Well, I go into work right in that other bedroom over there. That's my office. Right. So I don't have to go anywhere, which is great. But anyway,
but you're a first-hand example of how dairy affected you.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So, you know, it's funny, all of these old ads, and when you look at the old black and white ads, or you even think back to school, the food pyramids, they've changed it all. It's like everything we were told was wrong. And we're just all admitting it to ourselves now, little by little. There's so much more that needs to come out.
Right. And as we're watching these ads, and we'll put the link to this entire program in the notes so that you can watch it. It's very long. So again, you know, if you're working out or taking a walk or whatever, you know, play it part by part, because I think it's a couple of hours.
Yeah, it is.
And it, you know, you really do want to break it up so that you can digest. We listen to a section and then we re-listen to it. But as I'm watching some of these ads that you're not able to see, some of these celebrities are now 100% plant-based.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, it's interesting. And, you know, there are certain people that will do anything for a buck, and there are certain people that will only do what they really, really believe in. I mean, we're at a stage where we're really just trying to help others. We're just sharing this information to help others.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I was just replying to someone on LinkedIn. I'm going to send, make sure I copy him when I put this out there. His wife's going through, she has some diabetes, and he's really appreciative of the information. So those are the reasons why I do this. When I hear people reply back with that kind of stuff, and then we recommend a book or information,
right?
Because we don't know it all. We're learning it as we go, and I try to learn something new every day.
For sure, and that's what I want to say too, is that it's okay to change your mind once you've become more informed. And I wasn't slamming these celebs that are now plant-based. When they did these videos, I do believe, based on the information that they had and were given, that they believed what they were saying was true. Now, the fact that they are outwardly plant-based now, you know, they don't need to go back and say, oh gosh, I wish I didn't do that. I think it's really obvious to anybody that follows some of these athletes and TV or movie, you know, people that, you know, that they've learned something new. And I mean, look at who just came out with a book. Look at his transformation. It's so beautiful to watch.
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he was your quintessential party boy, right? And I am pretty sure that he didn't eat well. And we know that he, you know, had an excess of fun and time. And he has really changed, you know, his lifestyle.
I only know him from that movie that I loved. What was that? It was in Hawaii.
Yes.
But anyway, I really didn't know any of his stuff, but I love his videos out here on YouTube and his book. Yeah,
very mindful.
We will pick up the book because he's very mindful. He's on a journey, as are we.
Right.
And we're all learning and shifting over, so it's fun to see.
Right. My point is that, you know, just because a celeb comes out and says something is good, understand that all they're doing is acting in an ad. They're not advocating for something, and it's really important for us to not put the pressure on them to give us the information. It's up to us to gain that information.
I'm laughing inside because we're talking about a celebrity talking about like what to eat. For God's sakes, we've already, at the beginning of this video, we've already come to the agreement in the medical industry. Doctors have no idea. So obviously someone who is a tennis player or a movie star has, you know, unless they've done the research, but you know, like doctors don't even know. So,
but young kids look up to these.
Well, that's why they do
athletes,
well,
and
that's why they pay them, because they're.
And people think that, oh, well, if so and so is doing that, then just because they're advertising in there doesn't mean that they even believe in it. They're just getting paid to do that. Period. That's their job, just like whatever your job is. And you know, we all have to do what we can live with.
Well, of course, exactly. So this is a wrap. We've got more of this to go over. Thank you for listening. And we just want to put it out there. We're only sharing what we know, right? We don't know it all.
We don't know it all. And just since we're talking about dairy, this is one fact that always fascinates me. And I would love to hear some really thoughtful, you know, please everyone, don't shoot the messenger. And please no trolls. But if you have some thoughtful information on this tidbit here, humans are the only species that drink the milk of another species. We are the only species. I mean, no other species drink any other species' milk, right?
Right. And by the way, the cows only give the milk for their babies, the calves. Right. And milk in all mammals are for the babies. And then you're right. We we not only drink the milk of cows, we give it to our babies, or we used to. I don't know if I know any friends that would do that anymore.
Right.
But anyway, some people still do. But I'm just saying for babies. But we have grown-ass men out there drinking a glass of milk. So it's not
grown-ass men drinking milk.
It's not even going to babies anymore. It's like the juices that a mother mammal puts out for a baby.
Right.
We took it to give it to our babies when we didn't know any better.
Right.
But then we still drank it as grown people.
Right.
Which is crazy to me. So go look in your fridge. If you have milk, go dump it out. Go buy some almond milk. Or I really like the coconut milks now. Are really great.
The oat milk is really great. And again, we'll do a whole segment on that on plant milks, because there are some great ones, and then there are some plant milks that are full of garbage also. That
well, you gotta read, like we said in the last one, you gotta read the labels. That's all.
Read the labels. Yep. And as a mother who breastfed her children for quite, what I think was quite a long time, I did a lot of studying about that beforehand. And the mother's breast milk, whether you're a human or a cow or a horse or a sheep or a lion, whatever, that breast milk contains exactly what the baby of the mother producing the breast milk needs. So for us to drink breast milk from another mammal, which contains things that their baby needs that we don't, it's a really bizarre concept. I'm not talking about ethical or health. It's a bizarre concept to me. I mean, it would be like a...
Yeah, no, I get that. And by the way, let me correct you. It doesn't contain everything the baby needs. It contains all that other crap because we inject the cows with all of those
I'm talking under...
I know, in normal circumstances.
Normal, healthful circumstances out in the wild.
Today and what's going on in the market, I mean, we put all that stuff in on top of what you're saying.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Because that is so important. Yeah, so not only are we ingesting,
something that was made for the calf.
Made specifically for their particular baby, but it also has all the poisons that sadly our farmers are putting in there in order to have this milk stay in a certain status so that they can then sell it to the grocery stores and make money at the expense of the health of the people in the U.S. Because again, one last note, we do not ban the use of the toxins that are used in milk that are banned throughout the entire European countries as well as Canada. They're banned because they're deemed carcinogens, toxins, hormone disruptors. They are not banned here in the US. So it's really up to us to decide what we want to put in our body, and also if you're a parent, what you want to put in your own child's body. Do you want to put the toxins in? And this is about the health, not the ethical point. If you want to put it in, then continue with it. Otherwise, look for alternatives.
So I'm going to go ahead and try to wrap again. Go in your fridge and check it out and see what you got in there. Read the labels.
I love you, Jeffrey Pearl. Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from the nest of Copper Mountain.
Thanks for listening, guys.